Entertainment Network. Please consider liking and subscribing for more Boston sports content.
The red, white, and blue. I can't lose with the red, white, and blue. My whole crew is the red, white, and blue. I represent the stars and stripes. I am a patriot, a true American. I am a champion, yes, and that's on everything. I will protect my home. I will defend, fighting tooth and nail to the bitter end. I don't play to lose, nah, I play to win. Rain, sleet, or snow in the wingland. What? Let me say it again. I play to win. What it is tradition. I'm in the game, playing like Brady. 10 soldiers deep in the field, no Navy. Riding for my soldiers and they riding for me. No matter where I touch down, it's a TD. 2 hands up, yep. Field goal.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Pat's Nation Nightly, brought to you on the Boston Sports Entertainment Network. My name is Zach Ventola. As always, joined by Ben Belford-Peltzman. Ben, a pretty jam-packed agenda for really just a random Friday night in August, but how are you feeling tonight?
Yeah, it feels like all of our shows this past month, something has been happening with the Patriots. And in the last week, we have a lot of news coming from New England. First off, as we kind of ended the show with Carolina Panthers reporter Sheena Quick previewing the Panthers game, we talked about Brandon Ayuk, the 49ers wide receiver who has received permission to seek a trade from the Niners. And the Patriots have been pursuing him for months. And they finally got to the table and maybe gave him a new offer or upped the offer, whatever it was, and said, hey, $32 million AAV annual per year, 4 years, $128 million contract, as the Athletic reported. And supposedly Adam Schefter came out there and said, Ayuk's not interested in coming to the Patriots. Could be because of the uncertainty with Drake May, Jacoby Brissett, the Patriots quarterback position. Obviously, Jacoby Brissett is a veteran, but how long is he going to last in the starting QB spot? So I guess my question to you, Zach, is how much hope might be lost to Patriots fans when this star player, who the Patriots and Elliott Wolf is doing the best thing possible, right? He is saying, hey, we'll give you the money. He was in pursuit of Calvin Ridley too, and that fell short. So they're obviously looking for that playmaker at the wide receiver position. When is the day going to come when they actually get that wide receiver one?
That day is going to come when Drake May or whichever QB is next, shows that they can be the guy in New England. No wide receiver is going to want to come here if they have Joe Schmo at quarterback. So whether that's Drake May who ends up being the guy within a couple of years, or whether the Patriots end up having to move on from him and it ends up being whoever they draft afterwards, it is going to be whenever they show promise and then a receiver looks at them and says, well, that's a young QB that I think I could play with and really have some success with. As of right now, Drake May is an unknown, and that's why Ayuk didn't want to come to New England, because he has no idea what these next 2 or 3 years would look like for him if he were to come here. He might be catching passes from Jacoby Brissett all this year and possibly Drake May next year, but maybe he doesn't pan out. So then, who knows what happens there. He wants a guaranteed, or any wide receiver one, not just Brandon Ayuk, but they want a guaranteed quarterback who they know that they can catch passes from, who's going to be consistent thrower.
Absolutely. And right now, there's only really 3 solutions I see. Brandon Ayuk this is the least likely to happen, to play out his final year in his rookie contract. They pick up the option. It only pays him about $14.5 million. Ayuk can be traded, likely to Pittsburgh. If that was the case, they have been that team that everyone has been saying that Ayuk could go to for a trade. But that's just so complicated because, one, for a trade to happen, right, you need both sides to agree on the compensation. So Pittsburgh and San Francisco, and then Pittsburgh has to pay Ayuk what he actually wants. So you have like lots of moving parts here. It's a very, very fluid situation. And obviously nothing is resolved yet. The last option, obviously, he stays, gets re-signed in San Francisco, which I think is going to end up happening after all of this drama anyway. But I will, that's where I put my 2 cents, is I think he stays in San Francisco on a very luxurious contract. They have to win right now, and I think that accomplishes that.
Yeah, and one more thing to add on, I don't know if you mentioned it the first time when you were initially talking about Ayuk. I know you brought up that report from Mike Reese that the Patriots offered him a 4-year contract with a $32 million per year value, but they also, it came out today from Jeremy Fowler, had quote top tier guaranteed money built into that. There was some speculation, big clip that went around from Felger and Maz, that the Patriots might have had this $32 million per year offer, but potentially it was very low in guaranteed money. Fowler seemed to shoot that down right away. So the Patriots made even an overpay offer for Ayuk. And that's what they're going to have to do when they don't have this proven guy at quarterback. They're going to have to really get aggressive. They did it with Ayuk, but no dice. He, again, does not end up wanting to come to New England. And I agree with you. At this point, it seems like he is more than likely going to stay in San Francisco.
Yeah, so this means the Patriots are moving forward without that star receiver, like we just said. They are more than comfortable with their young talent. We will get into Juju Smith-Schuster in a bit, but staying with this topic for just a few more minutes here, that they are really, this is like a sign that they're good to go with Jalen Polk, with Javon Baker. Maybe Tyquan Thornton gets that role. Obviously, Demario Douglas is going to be on the team. So they're going to rely on a lot of young talent, right? And it's something that I'm excited to see, because nothing more important is building chemistry with a quarterback and their offense. And if all of them are coming into the NFL at around the same time, it shows that, maybe we can get some chemistry going there too. The last kind of thing I'll hit at is, this means that Kendrick Bourne is staying in New England. He is not going, obviously not getting traded to San Francisco. As of now, I mean, you never know what's going to happen. But obviously he was in those trade talks, but he's going to stay. So the depth chart right now has him, Demario Douglas, KJ Osborne, the 2 rookies, Baker and Polk, and then maybe Thornton on it as of now.
Yeah, and it also could be Kayshon Boutte, could be Jalen Reagor. That is a battle for that last spot. Could end up being 2 guys if the Patriots decide that enough players played well enough to consider carrying a 7th wide receiver, or if Kendrick Bourne is not healthy enough to play at the beginning of the season, maybe he begins on IR or PUP. But that is a battle for that last spot. Again, I would say as of right now, Tyquan Thornton does kind of lead that race. He had a very strong camp, didn't do much last night. He did have one great job getting open on a play in Jacoby Brissett's drive, where he got past the one-on-one coverage on a go ball. Brissett kind of threw the ball short. He wasn't able to reel it in. But Thornton has had a great camp. Boutte was the Patriots' leading receiver last night. And Reagor, again, as we know, he brings that value on special teams. So, I mean, Ben, do you think that they would carry 2 out of those 3 receivers if Bourne is still ready to go week 1?
Yes, news just came in really, really fast about Brandon Ayuk. He is not being traded, but the 49ers and Browns had agreed to a trade that would have seen Amari Cooper, a 2nd-round pick, and a 5th-round pick go to San Francisco in exchange for Ayuk. The Steelers have been unwilling to include a second and third round pick in any trade for Ayuk, and obviously his preferable destination is Pittsburgh, not Cleveland. That's why that trade hasn't been agreed to. Just some background there. But yes, to answer your question, I'm really looking forward to just watching, everyone kind of come together. And that last receiver spot, like you said, is going to be really, really tough to find.
Yeah, for sure. And again, I'm just gonna jump back to what you just said about the Browns offer. I am kind of shocked by that because it was rumored that the Patriots offer that San Francisco or that they would have accepted was Kendrick Bourne and a second, and maybe a little bit on top of that. But I mean, for the Browns trade to be Amari Cooper and a second and a fifth, that seems like a pretty uh it seems like there's a discrepancy there. I would say that that is a much stronger offer. Bourne and Cooper are approximately the same age, and Cooper is a Pro Bowl caliber receiver, while Bourne, while he is good, is not at that caliber. So I am very surprised by that.
Yeah, it's coming from the same guy who initially reported this. I almost said NBC Boston, NBC San Francisco's Matt Malico. Anyway, big news today coming from the Patriots. They have released veteran wide receiver Juju Smith-Schuster. He originally signed with the Patriots, and then obviously signed that 3-year, $25 million contract in 2023. Jacoby Myers still there. They opted to go Juju Smith-Schuster. Obviously, that decision doesn't look great now. The deal included $16 million in guaranteed money. Talking about guaranteed money for receivers, that's quite a lot for someone who didn't really pan out in New England.
Yeah, I'm shocked that he got cut. No, I'm just kidding. The writing was on the wall. He had been honestly probably the Patriots' worst wide receiver throughout throughout training camp and last night as well. Just including guys like David Wallace, Jaquay Jackson, Quan Baker, who are considered very much so long shots to make the roster. Smith Schuster has been bad for the Patriots, and he's just never seemed healthy. He came in, it was coming off of a knee injury. There was a report that his knee was about to explode or something along those lines. But yeah, he has very significantly lost a step in his game. It is unfortunate to see because he was such a great receiver just a few years ago, and now that he comes to New England, it's all gone downhill. It's just injuries. That's really all it is. His body kind of disappointed him there, but yeah, I'm not shocked to see him go at all.
Yeah, and talking about it kind of more lightly here, Juju is always great, right, with the media. He always, I think it was Andrew Callahan who kind of pointed it out, right? He always made sure to talk with them. Obviously, was described as a professional by everyone. And he just, unfortunate timing with injuries. The quarterback situation wasn't awesome, so it's like everything kind of played a factor. But the Patriots are deciding, like we just said, to go with that younger group of receivers. Moving on just a little bit, kind of staying with Juju now. Obviously, roster cutdown day is coming up. The preseason is where these players kind of shine. It's an opportunity. Many fans were hoping to see the third overall pick in the 2024 draft, Drake May, play against the Panthers on Thursday, especially more than one drive. He only got one drive, and he went 2 for 3, but he made some good throws. He looked comfortable in there. Obviously, there's only so much you can tell with that one drive, but what I will say is he had the starting offensive line in there, which I think is one of the reasons he actually didn't play more than one drive. Is Gerard Mayo said, hey, look, I'm not really comfortable sending out my rookie quarterback behind the backup offensive line who hasn't looked great all summer. So that is probably one of the reasons why Drake May only played one series. Obviously, then Bailey Zappi played a whole lot of the game, and then Joe Milton lit it up like Malik Cunningham did last year.
Yeah, Zappy, I was shocked that he played that much. I mean, right when he came in, after Drake May only got one drive, kind of immediately I just thought, well, are they just trying to get him to pop off in this preseason game so they can trade him? Because I don't see why they would have him play that much for any other reason. I mean, he really has no place on this roster. Patriots are obviously going to carry Jacoby Brissett and Drake May, and then Joe Milton just works better as a backup, seems like a better fit, and maybe Zappy can be a practice squatter for this team, but I would much rather give that time to Joe Milton or to Drake May and let them develop, see the game a little bit more, get adjusted to NFL paced football rather than letting Bailey Zappi play essentially a full half. So I was surprised. He didn't look great while he was in there. Nothing really went catastrophically wrong, but it just, I mean, it was preseason football at its peak. Bailey Zappi is kind of the definition of a preseason football quarterback. And yeah, it just was not great. And then Milton came in, kind of gave the crowd a spark. We all remember that touchdown, that huge scramble he had where he was 20 yards behind the line of scrimmage, things like that that are just insane to see that athleticism on display. So it was exciting towards the end for the quarterbacks and for, I guess, Patriots fans. But I was really shocked to see Zappy play that much. And Ben, do you think that this was potentially to facilitate a trade, or did they just want to allow Zappy to play a little bit and not have Milton or May get injured?
It's a good question because I don't really know the answer to. I don't think you're getting very much value. I think you'd be lucky with the 7th round pick for Bailey Zappi, if I'm being completely honest.
I agree. Yeah.
I I don't understand the decision, especially because some people were saying, "Hey, look, the Patriots are being nice. They're giving tape to watch to other teams." He has 6 games of tape last year against starting players in real games that mattered. You're saying that a quarter and a half of a game against backup linemen and backup players with Carolina is going to be beneficial with him? I mean, I'm just not like that made no sense to me. The whole decision really made no sense. Why not at least give Joe Milton the rest of the game? Why not maybe give Drake May or Jacoby Brissett one extra drive each? And I guess I get the linemen have to, there's no reason that Michael Wenu, David Andrews should be playing in these games, and I agree. But you have to figure out a way to have your quarterbacks who are going to be on the roster in a month get playing time in the preseason, because that is what the preseason is for. That's like what it's built for.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. And as you said, at most, probably you're getting a 7th round pick for Bailey Zappi. That's kind of why I thought maybe they're doing it so that they can trade him, because I don't think, before that, I wouldn't think you'd be able to get anything for Bailey Zappi. I would expect no team to want him. And I mean, we saw it last year where he was cut by the Patriots, or I guess waived by the Patriots on cut down day, and he went unclaimed. Patriots got him back on their practice squad. So I would think maybe the trade offers aren't there. Nobody would want him. Potentially the Patriots are trying to give him one good look to hopefully get a 7th round pick or 6th round pick out of a team. I don't know if that's the case. I don't even think it's necessarily likely that that's the case, but I just don't see any other way or reason to have Zappy play that much. Again, I would just rather give that playing time to Joe Milton and allow him to develop a little bit more. But anyways, I'm going to move it to a question in the chat, and then we'll go back to preseason talk right afterwards. But from Oliver Gannon on Instagram, do we think that the Patriots will win at least 6 games this season? And I will say 6 is kind of right where I would have them. It is probably in that 5 to 7 range, I would say. I think they're going to be a better team than they were last year. I don't see how they couldn't be. Uh, Seemed like everything that could go wrong last year did go wrong in all 3 phases of the game. Really offensively, obviously that quarterback situation was a disaster. Defensively, you had Judon and Gonzalez go down with season-ending injuries early on, and a lot of the cornerback room also got injured throughout the season. And on special teams, Chad Ryland was, as we know, not looking too sharp. So I don't see how they could be worse than last year. I think 6 is kind of the number to aim for, and that's where I would have them, is at 6 wins.
Yeah, and we're going to have a whole show getting into our predictions this season. It's going to be a great show to watch. But for now, getting back into the talk, there's one more news, I want to say news-ish transaction that happened today. The Patriots are held a workout for 4 specific players, and I'm just making sure I got all of them right. As Jerome Mayo said he was going to do, but he also said that he was going to hold workouts for linemen separately, which kind of is what happened today. He had Kansas center Mike Novinsky in for a workout today. I'm sure the workout went well, although there's no deal at the moment. Neil Johnson, former Patriot legend Isaiah Ford is in there. And there's one more person.
Oh, it was the fullback. Did you mention him already?
Yep. Nope. The New York Jets fullback. Nick. Maybe his name is Nick.
Yeah,
shoot,
I'd have to check it. I don't remember off the top of my head, but I mean that's interesting. At the very least, Patriots working out a fullback. Haven't had one in New England since
Yeah.
Jakob Johnson in 2021, I think. So that's kind of exciting to see if they'll make a signing there and potentially bring back some really just smash mouth football.
Yeah. Nick Nowden is the game there.
There we go.
Okay, so moving on just a little bit to the preseason, like we just said, your instant takeaway from that game in
Ooh.
a minute or less.
The Patriots front 7 is vicious. It is, and they didn't have a lot of their top guys playing. They didn't have a Matthew Judon out there. They didn't have a Davon Godshaw or Jawan Bentley playing. They were all healthy scratches, not playing, like veteran excused absences. And obviously Barmore is not playing as well. But O'Shane Jimenez, I'm going with that pronunciation. That's the way they're saying it over the PA last night. O'Shane Jimenez was a dog last night. Jeremiah Farms was a dog last night. A couple of the linebackers, John Morgan III and Christian Ellis, were dogs last night, getting after the quarterback like it was nothing. So that front 7 has a lot to look forward to, because when your depth pieces are making plays like that, can't even imagine what the defense as a whole with all the starters is going to be able to do.
Yeah, I totally agree. That Jeremiah Farms especially, he's been so good this preseason. Someone who's had a great story. Kind of going over my studs and duds as I usually report on the Patriots beat. That will be up later tonight. But I have Joe Milton. Kind of going a different direction, going to the offense. I mean, that one scramble, I think he ran over 100 yards total. He was just running all around, and then he found 20 yards in the positive direction. I also have special teams, because it's not easy adjusting to this new kickoff rule, and I think they did it really, really well. David Wallace.
Yep. Subway Dave.
Yep. He is a UDFA wide receiver that probably is not going to make the team, but he made the case that he should be a part of that 53-man roster last night. He was great in the return game. Chad Ryland was perfect on his extra points, something he had trouble with last year. veteran Joey Sly got the lone field goal attempt, a 42-yard field goal, and it was kind of down the middle, but it went in. And then some losers on the other end is the tackle situation with Chooks Agua Vidarian Lowe. Kind of I wanted to see just a little more out of them, especially Agorful, who we kind of haven't seen, kind of making those running lanes a little easier for running back Antonio Gibson. But there was one play, it was I think the third down play, Drake May's first third down, when there was just a dump off screen pass and they blocked that really, really well. I just
Yep.
want to see more of that in the future.
Yeah, another note on David Wallace, who, by the way, was doing it on his birthday. Last night was his birthday and had some great returns. Gerard Mayo this morning in his press conference said, on speaking on Wallace, he did a great job. He's an explosive player. So that's pretty high praise from the Patriots head coach. He also mentioned how Wallace has really just as a whole during training camp has been solid, been done a good job of getting open, making plays. So from an undrafted free agent, that's encouraging to see. Kind of reminded me of Gunnar Olszewski for a second, just seeing him back there returning punts. But yeah, that's definitely encouraging to see, and somebody that the Patriots should expect or hope to be able to get back on the practice squad.
Absolutely there. So the next Patriots preseason game is going to be against the Philadelphia Eagles. That will be nationally aired on TV2. And then they hold joint practices this coming week or next week with the Philadelphia Eagles. Drake May should be receiving a lot of reps in that practice. That should be very exciting to witness. Hopefully things get clear. Hopefully things don't get too chippy between the two teams. That was what I was trying to say there. Keep it clean. And then but we'll obviously have a show before then.
Yep.
That will happen mid next week. If you guys have any questions, leave them in the chat right now. We have a few more minutes here. We would love to answer some of your questions. We have
I'll throw one up real quick from Ken, and we already spoke on this a little bit, but just to fill the time before we get any other questions, how come the Patriots didn't convince him enough to sign a deal with New England? Again, it's really just because of the quarterback situation. That's an unknown, and when you think about name recognition, right? The Steelers might not have an elite quarterback. In fact, I would maybe even make the argument that Jacoby Brissett is better than both of the Steelers' current quarterbacks. Russell Wilson is a name that Brandon Ayuk knows. Justin Fields is a name that Brandon Ayuk knows. Those are quarterbacks who, even if they're not the greatest, still are guys who players might want to play with and guys who have that name recognition. So it really just comes down to that. I don't think that Ayuk wanted to play with a guy like Jacoby Brissett or play with Drake May this early into his career.
Absolutely, that is a great point. Any other questions, let us know. Otherwise, we will be wrapping up soon. I want to say just a few things first. Make sure to go to our Twitter and find our giveaway. We are giving away a signed helmet by Juwan Bentley and Ramondre Stevenson. There's a picture of it on the on the Twitter. All you have to do is make sure you're following Zach, make sure you're following me, and then make sure you are following Pats Nation Night on Twitter. Retweet the tweet, comment your favorite Patriots player. We already have a few people doing it, so make sure you get into that. We will be announcing a winner when we get to 250 followers. We are 40 followers away, so please make sure you do that.
Yeah, that's a good opportunity for you guys. I see 176 listening right now, just to get a nice little piece of memorabilia. Put it in the man cave, put it in the bedroom, wherever you keep your Patriots or sports memorabilia. Just have it on display, and it's signed by two of the Patriots' best players who also got extended recently. So no need to worry about, possibly seeing them leaving the team soon. Juwan Bentley, Ramondre Stevenson, two of the best in the game. Just go ahead, make sure you enter. Again, you can find it on Twitter on the Pats Nation Night account. The username is also right below Ben, next to the BSEN as well.
Absolutely. So, guys, make sure you go do that. And with that, we are going to wrap up our 25th episode of Pats Nation Nightly. I'm Ben Belford Peltzman. You can find me at The Patriots Beat on Instagram, on Twitter, thepatriotsbeat.com to find the latest analysis surrounding your 2024 New England Patriots. I was joined by Zach Ventola. As always, you can find him
Any Patriots Today on Twitter or X or whatever you want to call it. Pats.today on Instagram. Check it out. I guess the Instagram, you can see it right there. Check it out. Let me know what you think. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Until then, Ben, have a great night. Everyone listening, have a great night. And we'll be back on live soon in a couple days. Until then, we'll see you.